Do you want to know my number one tool in my tool bag of life? Radical forgiveness. It's what some might think of as delusional. You're just sweeping stuff under the rug, Alexis. But let me explain what radical forgiveness is. Radical forgiveness is the awareness that my perception of wrongdoing by a so-called other has any sort of meaning to my spirit, any sort of hold on me. When in reality, true reality, after studying thousands of NDEs, the trueness of true realities is that we are pure beingness. We are awareness. We are love. We're pure source energy. And there's really only one of us here. There's only God here. There's only the Creator here. That's why we can create with our minds and our hearts. We can actually manifest like God because we are the embodiment of God. So radical forgiveness alleviates the unserving stories, the things that we hold on to, that we think, somehow if we hold on to enough, it's going to make the other person suffer. It's going to make the other person pay. So I'm not going to let go of that. That's unforgivable. That's what they tell you in society, right? That's unforgivable. You hear that in all the movies. We're programmed deep about this. I'll never forgive him. I'll never forgive her. Oh boy. Have you ever been down a river? Like a rafting trip or a canoe trip or anything like that? Could you imagine that if you were on the river with your raft and all of a sudden from the sky comes these big boulder level rocks and just start plowing into your river? That's the equivalent of what you're doing when you're resisting forgiveness to that degree. Now, your mom and pop version of forgiveness is love thy neighbor as thyself, all the biblical things that feel kind of lukewarm to you, and then, do it because it's the right thing to do, and just try not to think about it kind of forgiveness. That's not the forgiveness I'm talking about. I'm talking about radical. This is an illusory experience that I'm going through, so therefore that's an illusory error that I've perceived. But at the core of that person, or the core of the reality, we are just beingness. We are just love. Literally, that's it. Like when we drop this meat suit, we have no attachment to it. The NDEers talk about this all the time. Like, I looked down at my body and I had zero attachment to that body. Zero feelings. Even mothers who have just given birth are like, I felt nothing for those meat suits. Nothing. But they did feel something for the blueprint of their soul coming here to expand and learn and grow. So that was meaningful. The relationship part of it was meaningful. It's the meat suits that we get caught up in. It's the storylines of the meat suits that we get caught up in. And we really, truly start falling for, this is a real story. This is really going on. Like when you go into the movie theater and you get your popcorn and you're sitting there getting into this storyline and it feels so real for 2 hours, and then poof, the lights come on. You look back and you see there's a little box up there where it was all projected from. Well, that's you. That is you projecting the story out, projecting the expectation of what, misery is going to reflect back for you, because that's the loop. We're looping these old things, and it's suffering is what it is. So if you want to end the suffering, if you want to step out of the paradigm of the old story, the old version of you that got caught up in all this misery, You want to remove those boulders out of the river? Then remove the perception of the victimhood. Remove the perception of the story that no longer serves you. It's just not, it doesn't look good on you. It's not getting you any younger. It's not making you feel any joy. It's not putting you in touch with the present moment. It's actually robbing you of all those things. So take some time. Go dig deep into people's experiences. People who have actually gone through crossing the veil, the lessons that they learn, the insights that they have. It's priceless information. This has changed the paradigm of my life, studying this stuff. And it's brought me to a place of such joy, such complete and utter joy and acceptance, radical acceptance for others, radical love. I see God every time I go to the convenience store or the grocery store or the library or a restaurant. I see God in all the faces. I see God in the backyard, in the butterflies and the bees and the water in my pool and the beautiful trees that surround my house. I see God everywhere. It's everywhere. So once you remove the blockages out of that flow of your life, all the resentments, all the nastiness that you push down and you tuck under the rug and you try to ignore and you every once in a while bring up to relive and then you loop it again for somebody new. Once you break that stuff out of the prison of your mind and you release it, welcome to a new life. Welcome to freedom. Welcome to joy. Can't wait to see you there. Mwah.